my God, I see it! I see it! Holy shit!
You like that dramatic build-up? Did I rile up your anxiety? Good. You should be afraid. Because if some coastal African fisherman with shoddy fishing poles can find an outdated, ugly dinosaur monster with a deep fish, then who knows what other freaks of nature reside in the depths of the abyss. Uglier fish, fish that can swallow a bus maybe, fish that their whole body is covered in razor-sharp teeth and can go through your body like dropping a lead weight in boiling butter. Nightmares! Explanation point. But if we learned anything, it is that these creatures taste bad and are a biological coolness of the deep blue. You might be wondering, what's the family, the genus, the kingdom, the phylum, and maybe the origins? Well, if you are, cool. Go outside. Maybe make some friends. Nerd. And for those who could care less, I'll put up a cool little chart and explain it. Parentheses. Explain chart. End parentheses. From Wiki. Now this fish is old. Really old. Like older than some substitute teachers. These babies, or should I say, oldies, am I right? Have been dated to exist in the Devonian era. In fact, scientists thought these guys were long gone until 1938, when Miss Marjorie Courtenay Latimer discovered this fish, who eluded most humanity for millions of years, just was caught by a local islander in the Comoros Islands. What are the odds? So she took the now deceased fish to a fish expert on the island, in which he confirmed it to be the famed coelacanth, or the aka the living fossil. And yeah, that's how it went. Speaking of bones, this fish has small, sharp teeth. And speaking of sharpness, this beast has heavy scales with spikes on each one. Back to the bones. This fish isn't your average rayfish, but a unique lobed finned fish. Unique being it having a hand-like structure within each of its 4 fins. They use these fins to catapult their chunky 6.5-foot, 200-pound corpse to unrelentingly and inevitably catch and never let go of anything that gets into their grubby mouth. Thanks to a freakish bone structure called an intercranial joint located in their head area. So these creatures seem more related to vampires than to fish. Teeth-wise and nocturnal-wise. Yep, that's right. Like vampires or primordial cave humans, these fish dwell in rocky crevices in the day, being very mellow and slow, which they are normally like that all the time unless they sense food with their secret power. We'll get to that later. Which could also be the reason they have been observed being completely vertical, like a ladder, face touching the ground, like an inappropriate term, as if they're trying to do a handstand. And we don't really know why they do it. They just do it. And maybe it's related to their secret power, which we'll get into the next section. This fish has a superpower too, like the one we talked about. The power of electricity, or to be more specific, an electrosensory organ, which tracks prey and strikes. Internally, this fish is a marvel, with a structure that is specifically made for grip. The intercranial joint, like we said before, it's one of the marvels housed in by its tiny brain, surrounded by fat. Its tiny brain is surrounded by fat. It's like, I think, smaller than a peanut, maybe a walnut, and it's surrounded by fat. That's what it is. Another marvel would be its hollow spine, and it's filled with liquid. So just imagine God put a Go-Gurt tube in a 4-legged finned fish and let it live for thousands of years. Oh yeah, they also have the same genetic coding as terrestrial four-legged animals, so that's pretty cool, if I do say so myself. So this is the bonus round, and a few fun facts, So did you know the meat of the fish is basically you getting a wad of fish, a wad of fish flesh, basically, dipping it in vegetable oil, letting it marinate for 4 years, then remove the same fish, peeing on it for a week, then melting dental wax on top of that, and then you eat it. You will then experience excruciating bowel movements that only can be compared to an inappropriate metaphor that involves fire and an STD. This is because of the urea and the wax esters that is found within the fish itself. So that's pretty fun. Pretty fun fact right there. The next fun fact is this fish is critically endangered. Now, that's pretty tragic. There's a lot of things that are endangered, I'm pretty sure. Sea manatees, but they're not fish. So we're going to move on to the next fun fact. The next fun fact being this fish used to be bountiful in the Cretaceous period. So apparently they lived among dinosaurs and survived a big meteor. And probably nothing like to eat them. That was the coelacanth. And glad you tuned in. If you were forced to, I'm sorry.
When I try, there you are.